guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jules Onu and welcome to another episode on Enigma by Jules. Enigma by Jules, guys. Welcome to another episode of Enigma by Jules. So guys, don't mind my hair, like, what's this? I know. So basically, long story, not the color I wanted, but I got it. So I'm a little embarrassed. I'm not yet used to it or anything, but yeah, that's just it. So guys, today we are going to talk about Jeffery Dahmer. Jeffery Dahmer. I've listened to this guy's case like for over like 5 times. He is the case that his case is the case I really love listening to. I don't know why, but like it's one of my favorites. So guys, today we're actually going to do this and we're going to do makeup because I have a lot of things I'm meant to do today, and I was like, I want to record this, and I'm like, okay, I think I should just do it while I'm doing my makeup. If that will be faster, I don't know if that's going to be faster. So guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment on any case you guys want me to do. And thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'm sorry for the inconsistency. Life is just hitting me left, right, front and center. Thank you so much, I really do appreciate. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed to my channel, like this video, share if you care, and let's get right into it. So guys, today we are going to talk about Jeffery Dahmer. So like I said, Jeffery is one guy that, like, Jeffery Dahmer, he amazes me and he makes me angry every time I listen to his case. I didn't fart, that's my primer. He makes me angry every time I listen to his case because I'm like, this guy he was him. I don't even know how to put it. Like, this guy, his case was like everything about this guy's case was online. So basically, let me just do like a little disclaimer. This case, it includes animal cruelty, includes rape, it includes murder, it includes necrophilia, you know, all those things. It actually includes all these things. So if you don't like stuff like that, please see you next week. But I just have to talk about this case, honestly speaking. Yep, I have to talk about this guy's case because he was one of a kind, basically. So let's get right into it. So like I said, when it comes to Jeffery Dahmer, you actually never miss an information, to be honest. Let's go back to the beginning of how Jeffery Dahmer was born. So Jeffery Dahmer was born in Milwaukee in Wisconsin. So Jeffery Dahmer was born on May 21st, 1960. Some sources, they claim that Jeffery Dahmer was deprived of attention as a child, while some sources actually said that he was actually very loved by his family. And some people were like that his family was like this little family, basically like intense investigation, if I could put that, like intense search, like has shown that like each family members, like they actually have like something different to say. This can say this and this can say that. So Jeffery on one hand would describe his mom as a very greedy, tense woman. Like, according to him, his mom was not there for him and for his little ones. His mom was greedy. His mom was this kind of, she wanted everything to herself. She cared little or less about her children. And Jeff also went forward to say that, yeah, his mom always, like, you know, quarreled with the dad, was always in disagreement with his dad because like she wanted her husband's attention like 90% of the time. So obviously, if her husband is giving her all this attention, then he won't like have enough time to give his children, because obviously he's giving all his attention to the wife that is demanding, and he will have little time for his children. In Jeffrey's first grade, he was actually not doing well. Actually, his mom was not doing well, sorry. His mom was suffering from depression. Like, his mom was suffering from intense depression. She was not doing well. She actually spent most of her time in bed, and she felt very weak because of this. Jeffrey's dad, on the other hand, he went back to school. He was studying chemistry. He was this smart man. So he went back to school to study. So obviously, like, most of the time, Jeffrey was like with his mom. So like I said, because she was always in bed all the time, she gave little or no attention to her children. Jeffrey's mom was named Joyce. Funny enough, that was my mom's name, my late mom's name. So Jeffrey's mom was named Joyce, and She actually committed suicide at one point because, like I said, she was depressed, so she committed suicide at one point, and she actually survived. So now let's go into Jeff. So before Jeff was 4 years old, he was described to be this energetic boy, this little boy. He was always happy, like he loved everybody around him and stuff like that. Until basically he had to undergo a double hernia surgery, and that's like when everything changed. Like Jeffrey became this reserved kid who was just always to himself. His teacher like had this inkling that, oh yeah, Jeffrey was always rejected at home, but I don't even know why she didn't even give, like she didn't make it formal. Like I think there should be a case where, like, because I know now they will make it formal, they'll put it in your report card that, oh okay, I have a feeling he doesn't get the right attention at home. But she said that she had this inkling that Jeff was like always rejected at home, he was not looked after at home and everything. Right from an early age, Jeffrey had this interest for dead animals. Jeffrey's friends will come forward and say that Jeffrey like had this intense love for animals, and that he would carry large insects like butterflies and dragonflies, and then he would put them inside jars. So from there, Jeffrey like he progressed from carrying all these little insects and putting them inside jars to going for road kills, because obviously road kills were much easier. They were killed, they were by the side of the road or on the road, and basically they were already dead. So what would he do? He would just carry it, go to his yard and do whatever he wanted to do. Anyway, so according to Jeffrey, like he just wanted to know what was inside his animals, what inside the animals actually looked like, you know. So him, like, it was more like as an experiment. So when he got these roadkills, he would just dissect inside these roadkills, and then he would put them inside mason jars. And I don't know, like in my house, like when I was, anytime I listen to Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm like, in my house that can never ever happen. I don't know, like as a child, they would know. Like there's no how nobody would know. There's no how nobody would know. So basically Jeffrey, I don't know if anybody knew, but like he would literally carry these animals, he would dissect them, and then he would just put them inside mason jars and go about his business, go to school and everything. So there was this occasion where a dog was hit by a car, and Jeffrey, when he saw this, he picked the dog up, and obviously like there was nobody at home at this time, so he took the dog to his house, and then to the backyard. He cut the dog's head off. He dissected the dog, and then he decided to nail the dog's body to a tree. Then after that, he removed the hair of the dog and everything like inside the dog, and then he took it to like the wooden area at the back of his house. He then took the dog's skull, and then he cleaned the dog's skull, and then he hung the dog's skull to a wooden cross. This guy was weird, I'm not even gonna lie. So in 1966, his whole family decided to move to Doylestown in Ohio. And when they moved there, like by this time his mom was pregnant for his younger brother, her next child. I think his name was David. So she was pregnant for him, and he moved there, him, his mom, his brother, and his dad. 2 years later, the family moved to Bath, Ohio. So one day they were eating chicken, and Jeff, like during family dinner, they were eating chicken, and Jeff asked his dad, he was like, daddy, what will happen if they put the bones of this chicken inside bleach? And that was a very weird question, but like I said, Jeff was known to be like this reserved boy, so like his dad found the question weird, but obviously his dad was a little bit happy because, okay, this is relating to chemistry, and you know his dad was kind of like a chemist. His dad studied chemistry in school, so basically his dad was just happy that, oh yes, my son is being scientifically curious, just like my dad is a lawyer, and then like maybe if I'm a child and then I'm asking my dad, I'm like, what will happen if a lawyer lies or something like that? And you understand, my dad is like, oh okay, my daughter is interested in law. So you understand, like I look, if you like every parent just wants their children to take after their footstep, especially like if they've seen the good in it. So his dad was just happy that, oh, okay, my son is being scientifically curious, so why can't I just show him how it's done? So basically his dad showed him how to get bones and preserve bones with bleach. So when Jeffrey was 14 years old, his mate said that Jeffrey used to like bring beer or hard liquor to school. So basically, he used to smuggle it to school and then he used to put the beer in the lining of his jacket, of his coat. And this thing he did so successfully. So basically, when Jeffrey was 14, he started drinking. And later down in this story, we are going to find out that Jeffrey was this kind of person that he could not do without alcohol. Like, he was literally addicted to alcohol. When Jeffrey reached puberty, he actually discovered that yes, he was gay, but obviously he didn't tell anybody, he couldn't tell anybody. And this was like back in the day, like this was like an offense, like, do you understand? So he literally discovered that, oh yeah, he was gay, and he kept it to himself. Research shows that when Jeff discovered that he was gay, he had like a very brief relationship with another boy, and this was when Jeff was like that. He this is when he discovered that he loved being with somebody submissive, not dominant. So basically, I don't know if you guys are familiar with dominance and submission. Like, some people like it when the other person is submissive or dominant. So like basically, that's also Jeffrey was this kind of person. He was like, okay, I like this and I like being the dominant person, and he loved being like with a more submissive person. So this is when he found out that okay, this is actually what he actually liked. So in 1977, Jeffrey wasn't even doing well in school, and this was because of his alcohol. Like I said, like since when he was 14, he was addicted to alcohol. So basically, he wasn't doing well in school because of alcohol. During this time, Jeff's parents, their marriage, their relationship was on the rocks, and they tried their very best. They tried to take marriage counseling, but the marriage counseling did not work, and basically they got divorced. And Jeffrey's dad just thought that okay, it would just be nice and wise if I just leave the house for the family with his wife and his children. So he left the house while Jeffrey and his mom and his siblings were in the house. In 1978, Jeffrey graduated from high school, and then his mom was then awarded custody of his younger brother David. And when his mom was awarded custody, she just decided like, okay, let me leave this house, like their family house in Bath. She was like, let me leave this house, and then she left Jeff in it. And Jeff was only 18 years old. She was like, let me leave this house. My African parents would never, ever, 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 honestly speaking. She was like, let me leave the house, take my son. She took her younger brother David, and then she just left only Jeff alone in the house. Like I said, my African parents would never, at the age of 18, are you okay? So that's basically what actually happened. On June 18th, 1978, Jeff was driving home, and then he noticed a hitchhiker, and then he stopped to pick up the hitchhiker. So like in this case, I'm not going to mention anybody's name because basically I was doing my research and I heard that if you mention any name, they're gonna sue you. Some of these families are going to sue you. They're not joking. So basically, I know the hitchhiker's name. If you want it, is on Google. So basically, Jeff, he noticed this hitchhiker, and then he stopped to pick up the hitchhiker. This hitchhiker was 18 years old, and his birthday was just in 3 weeks. So basically, when Jeffrey stopped to pick the hitchhiker, he offered to take this hitchhiker to his father's house. He was like, let's go to my father's house, let's go, let's chill and everything. And he actually agreed. I would never see ya. Like when I was thinking about, when I was, anytime I read this thing, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like, the thing about this life here, nobody ever thinks that bad things will happen to them. Nobody ever thinks that bad thing will happen to them. Everybody thinks that it's never going to be them. Everybody that has been stabbed, that has been shot, they never ever, they'll be like, it's not my portion. And they go around their normal lives. So like nobody ever thinks that, oh, okay, all these kind of things happen to them, basically. So I don't even know how, I know I would never, a stranger stop me and be like, oh, follow me to my house. That would be so suspicious. Anyways, maybe he was a sweet talker, because like he spoke to him, he was like, see, let's go to my dad's house and everything. And the hitchhiker agreed, and then they went to his dad's house. Basically, according to Jeff, they were playing music, they were basically like having fun, they were discussing, they spoke for a very long time, they played music, they drank and everything. And then Jeff was like that, he actually spoke to him about girls, because he knew that don't forget that Jeff is gay. So according to Jeff, if he knew that, okay, if he tried to speak about men, he knew that he was not going to have a chance. So like obviously he was drifting to what the guy would want to hear. And then after some time, the guy was like, see, it's time for me to go, I actually want to go. And as he was preparing to go, Jeff just said he wants to go. Jeff was not happy because he wanted to go. So Jeff took this 10 pounds dumbbell and hit him on the head. He bludgeoned him. I don't know how to pronounce that word. So he bludgeoned him. Bludgeoned, I don't know. He actually used the 10 kg dumbbell. He hit him on the head, and then this guy fell, and then he hit him 2 more times, and then the guy was unconscious. And when the guy was unconscious, Jeff was just all over his body, and he was masturbating on him. And then after that, he masturbated over his unconscious body, and then he strangled him with the bar of the dumbbell, and the man died. Like literally, he just died 3 weeks to his birthday. So it's like I said, by the grace of God, I pray I do not find myself in that situation. Like I said, nobody ever thinks they will find themselves in that situation. That's why, I don't know. 3 weeks to his birthday, this guy died. Like he literally died. So the next day, Jeff took this body, he dissected the body in the basement. After he dissected the body in the basement, he took the remaining to the backyard, and then he buried the remaining there. And then after that, he took the flesh of this hitchhiker, and then he dissolved the flesh in acid before he poured it down the toilet. Then after that, he crushed this guy's bones with a sledgehammer, and then he scattered them in the woodlands behind the family home. Guys, this is one I don't understand. Like this guy just had the urge to kill. Like I don't know, how would he just sit down and just have the urge to kill somebody? Honestly, like guys, we have to be grateful for every stranger that has picked us up in their car. And do you understand? And we are, like, a stranger has picked you up in all those blessed days to do in Nigeria. A stranger has picked you up, and then you're even watching me. We actually have to be grateful, because like there is a chance that it could have been someone like Jeffrey Dahmer. Does that make sense? It could have been someone like Jeffrey Dahmer. So basically, he crushed the person, this guy's bones. He dissolved the flesh in acid, flushed it down the toilet, and my guy went around living his life like every normal person. So 6 weeks after the murder, Jeffrey's dad and the fiance, they actually returned home. And when they came home, they were surprised to see that okay, it was only Jeffrey at home. They didn't know that his mom had left the house. And Jeffrey's dad was like, okay, since I was the only person at home, Jeffrey's dad now told him that okay, that he wanted Jeffrey to actually go to school. Like Jeffrey should go to school. Guys, this is the part that makes me, this guy was, I don't like insulting people, but this guy was, he was a dummy. Like, oh, I feel so bad insulting. Why do I feel bad insulting a serial killer, honestly speaking? So Jeffrey's dad told Jeffrey to go to school. So Jeffrey's dad enrolled him into Ohio State University, and he actually paid for his school fees in advance. So when he paid for his school fees in advance, he told Jeffrey that Jeffrey should go to school. So Jeffrey went to school and he did a major in business. And basically, him being in school was so unproductive. This guy literally failed every single subject. He even failed introduction to anthropology. Who fails introduction to anthropology? Okay, I did BSc in sociology, so they thought I didn't need to be about anthropology. Who fails introduction to anthropology? And guys, let me bust your brain. Let me bust your brain. The only program this guy was successful at, he had a B minus, was in, is it Riffler. God, I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to put it on this screen. So that's the only course this guy was successful in. And out of a 4.5 CGPA, this guy had a 0.45 CGPA. Out of a 4.5 CGPA, this guy had a 0.45 CGPA. At this point, I want to say you couldn't even have one CGPA, like 0.45. Who has 0.45? Like, what exactly were you even doing in school that you had 0.45 CGPA? As if that was not enough, after 3 months, he was like, see, I don't want to go back to school. After all, he's not the one that paid the school fees. He wasn't collecting loan. It was his dad. His dad, like I said, his dad had paid the school fees in advance. So his dad was like, so he was like, you know what, I'm not going back to school. So he dropped out of school and then he went back to his house. So in 1979, his dad told him, okay, since you dropped out of school, be useful with your life, go and join the army. And then he joined the army and he was actually trained as a medical specialist at Fort Sam, Houston, Texas. So that's where he was trained. So he was in the army and then he was stationed in Baumholder. That I don't know how to pronounce all these things. So he was stationed in Baumholder in West Germany and he served as a combat medic in the army. In just first year of service, he was described to be someone who was an average or a little bit above average soldier. Like that's how he was described to be. Two soldiers, they actually claimed to have been raped by him. One actually said that Jeff raped him like for 17 months straight, basically. Anyways, Jeff was discharged because of his alcohol life, because of he was so addicted to alcohol, so the army could not do anything about it. So he was actually discharged. He was given this honorary discharge because they said that okay, the reason why they discharged him was not going to affect his civilian life. So basically that's why they discharged. But I think I wanted to disagree with that, but I'm like, but that's not even the issue here. So basically they're like, the reason why they discharged him was because they gave him an honorable discharge was because like they felt like the reason why they discharged him was not going to affect the civilian life. So basically the discharge was honorary. Guys, how did I think doing makeup with this would be faster? It's actually no, it's actually slow. Anyways, we're here. So on March 24th, 1981, Jeff was sent to Fort Jackson in South Carolina for debriefing, and then he was provided like a train ticket to like travel to anywhere in America that he wanted to, and he didn't want to go back home because obviously basically like he didn't want his dad to see him as this failure because like obviously his dad has tried, to be honest. So he didn't want to live with his families and he didn't want to, he just wanted to like be in control of his own life. So this just made Jeff to go to Miami Beach, Florida. So my guy went there, and another reason why he went there was because it was too cold. And I think in Miami it's not cold, so like that was another reason why he went there. It was too cold in the other part of the United States, so he decided to go to where was to the place that was like a little bit warmer. In Florida, Jeff found a job in Delicatessen, and then he actually stayed in a motel like close by. Basically, like Jeff, I think alcohol was like his main problem, like minus every other thing he did like in his life. Like alcohol was like his main problem. So he found a job in the whatever in Florida, and then when he did, he was removed from the motel because he could not pay his he basically spent all his salary on buying drinks, so he could no longer afford to stay in the hotel. So he was sent out of the hotel, of not the hotel, the motel. So he was literally like sent out of the motel. So he actually continued working in this sandwich shop until he could no longer like stay, and then he just went back to his dad in Ohio. So when Jeff went back to Ohio, he lived with his dad and his stepmom, and then he insisted on being like awarded like this daily chores like while he was looking for a job. So basically he was like doing everything at home while he was looking for a job. But this guy, he continuously like drank. Like I said, drinking was his problem. So basically like 2 weeks after he had moved to Ohio, he was arrested for I don't know what they call, is it DV or whatever, like for drinking and for being drunk and driving. And then he was fined $50, $50 or $60. He was fined 56, I think it's $60. I can't remember. He was fined $60, and then when he was fined $60, he was given like a suspended 10-day jail sentence. Jeff's dad, like he tried so hard to like wean him from taking alcohol. Like he tried so hard to make him stop taking alcohol, but like At this point, he couldn't even do anything because it was a very unsuccessful mission. So in December 1981, Jeff's dad decided to take Jeff to his grandmother to go and stay in his grandmother's place, because out of everybody in Jeff's life, Jeff actually loved his grandmother so much. He showed his grandmother the most perfect affection. So his dad just thought that, okay, his dad and his stepmom, they thought that, okay, since he actually showed his stepmom, his grandmom, this kind of attention and this kind of love, why don't we send him there? Maybe this would make him listen more to his grandmom, because obviously someone you love, you would not want to hurt their feelings. So he was like, okay, his stepmom and his dad just thought, okay, this is a very good idea, let us do this. And that's what they did. They sent him to go and stay with his grandmom. And when he went to stay with his grandmom, he was doing everything like to please his grandmom. He followed his grandmom to church, he did house chores, he literally, like, he listened to his grandmom, like this is what he was doing. And then he found a job. He actually found a job as a I don't know how to pronounce this. He found a job as a phlebotom. Guys, I'm so sorry. I feel I am so, like, guys, minus this case, I have tried so hard. Like, I remember one time I was with my doctor friend and I was trying to pronounce it. You know those people that used to draw blood, like when you go to the hospital, the people that's what they do, they just draw blood from you. A phlebotomist. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to put it in the screen. So he found a job as that, and he had this job for 10 months, and literally this was the job he kept so well. This was the longest job ever. He found this job for 10 months before he was actually laid off. And yeah, he was laid off because of his alcohol problem, and then he was unemployed for 2 years, and he just used to live off of his grandmom. Whatever his grandmom gave him, that's what he used to live off of. So in 1985, Jeffrey Dahmer actually got a job as a mixer in Milwaukee Ambrosia chocolate factory. So basically, he was a mixer in that factory, and he worked night shift for like 6 days. So Saturday was only his free time. So he worked from like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's when he worked. So guys, now we're about to enter how Jeffree Star, how Jeffrey Dahmer is known for being Jeffrey Dahmer. So one time Jeffrey was in the library, in a public library, and then basically a stranger like threw a note at him saying that, oh, he literally wanted to give Jeffrey head. Do you understand? Like, head. If you don't know what head is, sorry. So he was like, see, I want to give you head. And this just made Jeffrey remember the time he was in a relationship with somebody when he was younger. Remember I said he was in a relationship, in a brief relationship, and that's when he discovered that, oh, he liked being the dominant person and he loved people that were submissive. So basically this just made him remember, this just stirred up a moment where he remembered that. And he didn't do anything to this guy that threw him the note. He didn't answer him, but basically what that just did was just to take him back to his early childhood days, where he remembered that, okay, there was a time I was dominant, I wanted to be dominant, blah 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 blah. So in 1985, Jeff actually began to frequent bathhouses, and he described these places as relaxing places. So that's how he described bathhouses. So during his sexual encounters, he actually like became frustrated, like when the person, because when he goes to these bathhouses, he will pick people, and then he became frustrated if these people were like, maybe they were talking or they were moving while they were performing these acts, because he literally saw his partners as objects, and less, more like objects and less of human beings. I don't know if that makes sense. So he saw them like more of like non-living things, because obviously he liked being the dominant one. So he wanted them to like more of objects basically, and less of human beings. So when this, like I said, he got angry like when he was performing his sexual act, and he got angry when these people were like talking or moving and everything. So because of this, he started drugging his partner. So whenever he picks people from bathhouses, he would take them to his house, he would give them a drink, and then we'll put sleeping pill in them, and then he will drug them. And they will obviously be unconscious, will sleeping, and then he will literally like rape them. That's rape, because at that point you were not consented. He will literally like rape them. And then these people, they reported to the bathhouse, because I think like maybe the bathhouse people, they found out about this, and then they actually revoked his membership. But I'm like, something like this is happening, and you understand, you're not reporting to the police. Like, why? But I don't want to dwell on that. So basically, Jeff was his license to the bathhouse was actually revoked, and this just made Jeff just, I personally believe that this just made him to become the Jeffrey Dahmer that we know. So in August 1986, Jeffrey was actually arrested for masturbating in front of two 12-year-old boys. So he was sentenced to a year of probation. So I think he was on a beach, and then he was masturbating in front of these two boys, but then he was arrested. But when he went to the courthouse, he actually changed the sentence. It was like that, no, I was not arrested because of that, I was actually urinating. And yeah, that's why, because if he said he was masturbating, I think they would have like, because that's a crime, so I think they would have increased it. So because of that, they just gave him like 1 year probation. So in September 1984, Jeffrey picked up a guy from a bar, and when he picked up this guy from the bar, he woke up to his beaten body like lying down next to him. So according to Jeff, he was like, "See, I don't know anything about this. I don't know." He had no memory of him like killing anybody. So after this, Jeffrey, he killed two people. He had to kill two people in 1988, and then he killed one in 1989, and then he actually killed four in 1990. He continued to lure unsuspecting men from bars, and sometimes he used to lure like prostitutes on the street. He would take them to his house, he would drug them, he would kill them. There was even a time he lured a 14-year-old prostitute. Guys, a 14-year-old prostitute, that is how should I put it, that is absurd. So he lured a 14-year-old prostitute, told him that, oh, he was going to pay him like $50, like the guy should just come to his house while they perform their duties or whatever. And then he drugged this guy, he killed him, and this little boy, he killed this boy, and like as usual, dissected the body, preserved. There was even before, okay, I've skipped a lot. His first two victims that he killed, like when he took the skull, like try his first victim, when he took the skull of this first victim, he put it in bleach, but then this bleach basically like dismantled the skull, and he got angry because like the skull had basically kind of dissolved or something like that. So basically he was like a collector of skulls. Don't know if that makes sense. He was literally like a collector of skulls, kind of, yeah. So he took this 14-year-old boy, he did whatever he did, he killed the boy, obviously he dissected the body and everything. And then he also said that there was a time there was a man that he killed, but the guy wanted something to do with him, and then they did their thing. He drugged him and he killed him, and he didn't he killed him and he threw away his body. He didn't want to have anything to do with his body because according to him the guy was not attractive, so he threw away his body. He didn't want anything. He didn't collect a trophy. Yeah, they call it a trophy. He didn't collect a trophy for this guy. So Jeffrey, he was necrophilic. He used to use these bodies, and like when he kills these bodies, he has sex with dead bodies, and then he would take disturbing pictures of this body. And like after that he would take pictures of the dismembership process, like when he's dismembering the body, he would take pictures of them. Then he would use scientific precisions to like preserve the victim's skulls and the genitals for display, and he would even retain some parts for consumption. Like literally he will eat some part of these people's body. During this period, Jeffrey Dahmer, he was actually arrested for a similar incident at um the chocolate factory he was working at. So basically he was fondling with a 13-year-old boy, and he was given 5 years probation. And not only was he given 5 years probation, he was told to register as a sex offender. This guy, an adult, fondling with a 13-year-old boy, and 5 years probation. Go register as a sex offender. Guys, I am laughing because like it's so uncomfortable to think that they would give, that's an offense, like that's an offense. So basically his work here, they basically like sacked him. They were like, okay, sorry, let me do my this thing. His work, they basically like sacked him. They were like, this one is not serious, let's just let him go. So he was back to searching for jobs in this job market like I am. So so like I said, he was given 5 years probation. So despite the fact that this guy was attending like regular appointments to go and see his probation officer, he was still doing his job. So like basically that year he had killed like 4 people, and in 1991 he had killed like 8 people. So in the summer of 1991, Jeffrey, like he used to kill one person every week in the summer of 1991, and he actually literally became infatuated with the idea that he could turn his victims into zombies to act as youthful and submissive sexual partners. So basically, he was he used so many techniques in killing these people. Sometimes he would drill holes into their skulls. He would inject hydrochloric acid into their skulls, or he would inject like boiling waters into their brains. There's even a time he drugged one guy and the guy was asleep, and then he was drilling a hole into this guy's head and this guy was asleep, and this guy woke up in the middle of the drilling and he was like, what's up, I have headache, what time is it? And Jeff was like, who's this one? How are you awake? And Jeff just like hit him on the head, and then he fell back, and then Jeffrey started continue like drilling his head. And there was even a time like the smell from his apartment was so bad, like it was oozing. Some neighbors would call the apartment manager and be like, this guy's apartment is smelling. And the apartment manager called Jeffrey and asked Jeffrey what's going on. Jeffrey was like that, oh, I think he said it was his carpet and then his fridge. They called the apartment manager like twice, and he gave one very stupid excuse. And the apartment manager was like, okay, just take it out, people are complaining, just take it out, people are complaining. There was even a time Jeffrey got a 14-year-old boy, I think it was a 14-year-old prostitute. He promised he was going to give him $50 to his apartment, and then he drugged this guy and left this guy in his house. And then he went to the bar to drink, and this guy came out from his house. And then when this guy came out from Jeffrey's house, he was sitting down in Jeffrey's house. I think he was half naked or something. And then two ladies came and approached him, and then they asked him what happened, and then they called 911. And then Jeffrey came and was like, oh no, this is like my partner, he's drunk, he's this. And then he tried taking him, carrying him up, but then the partner was like, sorry, but then the little boy was like resisting. And then police came. When police now came, police was like, the women explained to police what they saw, like how they saw him sitting down outside on the street and in front of Jeffrey's house. And then Jeffrey was like, no, he's my partner, he's drunk, that's why he's out here. And then the women were telling police like, see, there's something going on, there's something wrong. This guy came out naked, and he restricted, like he didn't want to go with Jeffrey when Jeffrey wanted to take him inside. And the police literally like told these women, she was like, see, mind your business, let them solve their things themselves. Do you understand? And I'm like, this is just so weird, like I don't understand. So Jeffrey even showed him pictures of him and this guy, their sexual whatever, like him taking pictures, like, don't worry, he's my partner, this, da. And then the police was like, okay, convincing enough, told these women, go mind your business and everything. But obviously women, we have an instinct. So they were like, didn't the police say so? Okay, fine, cool. That's it. So basically Jeffrey took this 14-year-old boy inside, he drugged him, he killed him, obviously dismembered his body, and yeah, that's how that boy died. That's just how he died. That's just how that boy died. So in July 22nd, 1991, Jeffrey lured this victim to his house, and he told this victim, come perform, let's do an act, and then I'm going to pay you for it. So when this victim came to the house, he brought out like a butcher knife, and then he forced him into the bedroom. So first of all, when this guy came to inside his house, this house had like a very foul smell. I don't even want to imagine how this guy's house was smelling. So his house had like this very foul smell when he went into the house. And then he noticed like there was, okay, I forgot to say, Jeffrey had like this big drum, and then he noticed there was a drum, and then he saw like the hydrochloric acid, and he asked Jeff, was like, why is this acid here? And Jeff gave one very useless excuse. And then Jeff now took him to the room, and I brought out a butcher knife, and then like handcuffed his hand. And then when he handcuffed his hand, this guy tried to be free, but he couldn't. So he now told Jeff, was like, okay, they went to the parlor. He told Jeff, was like, I want to go to the toilet. So he thought he could go to the toilet to escape. So he went to the toilet, and he saw, oh shit, there's no window, I can't escape, I can't do anything. So he now told Jeff, he now went back to the parlor. So sitting room, some people call it parlor, some people call it sitting room. Please don't come for me, don't come for me, I'm used to saying parlor. This guy, he went back to the room, he went back to the sitting room. And then when he went back to the sitting room, he told Jeff, was like, okay, please, can I just go to the toilet and ease myself one more time? And Jeff allowed him, and then he goes to the toilet, and then he comes back, and then like he's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? And then he picks, obviously he's chained with, his hands are chained with handcuffs, and then he basically like goes to the parlor, and then he punches Jeff on the face, I guess. Yeah, he punches Jeff on the face, and Jeff is like unconscious. He runs to the door, he opens the door, he runs out with the handcuffs in his hand, and then like he sees a police car, and he stops the police car, and he explains everything to the police inside the police car. I think there were like 2 policemen inside the car. I'm moving ahead of myself, I can't do this on makeup. So basically, when this guy goes to meet the police and everything, so they try to use their key to open the handcuff, and they see that, oh okay, it's like an outdated version or whatever. So they now decide, okay, let's go to the house. So they went to Jeffrey's house, and this guy is with them, and obviously like he feels safe because obviously he's with a police officer. So they now ask Jeffrey for the key, and then when they ask Jeffrey for the key, Jeffrey like goes to the room and everything, and then he's trying to like use his body to like, to block them from entering inside the room, and they're like forcing him, they're like, excuse me, they're forcing him, and then they push him, and then they go his room, and then they check like maybe his drawers, and then they see like all these explicit pictures of people's dead bodies, their skull, these Polaroid pictures, and then they call for backup. And then they searched the whole house. Then like they discovered like skulls, they discovered things in his freezer, they discovered like human parts in this. Guys, this is disgusting. Like, this is so disgusting. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like I feel like throwing up. And I don't know how I've listened to this case like for over like 5 times from different people, because I'm like, this guy was evil. Let me even how did I forget this? Do you know that this guy, most times he went after African American men because they actually had like less importance in the society? Obviously, like, let's be honest, if there's a white man and there's an African American man that's going missing, who will like who will the police go to look for after first? So basically, because this African American man, then this was like in the 1970s, whatever, obviously the police, they were not going to like treat this case with urgency. So basically he mostly went after African American men, which is so sad. Honestly. A total of 7 skulls were found in his apartment, and then there was like a hat that was found in his freezer. And then after that, they found like this altar that he had created in his closet, and this altar, they were constructed with like candles and human skulls. Then after he was taken to prison, he was taken into custody, and then in custody was where he like confessed to his crimes. Basically, he confessed to his crimes, and he gave all the details to the authority. Guys, wait, let me do my line now. So Jeffrey Dahmer was actually sentenced to prison for like a year. They put him in solitary confinement because like obviously like it was very dangerous for him. Like his other fellow prisoners, they were out to like get him. They like really wanted to kill him. I don't know why it looks kind of dark. So basically, his other prisoners, they wanted to kill him, so they put him in solitary confinement for like his own safety. Then after that, he was transferred to another prison. So while Jeffrey was in prison, he wanted to die. He was telling them that, see, they should kill him. And he obviously, the state of Wisconsin, they had abolished the capital punishment. Basically, I hate the capital punishment. If you know me, you know how much I hate it, because obviously these people, they have to suffer for their life, like for what they've done. You would just kill them and then they are gone, basically. So like, if you know me, like, because on my Insta story I always rant about all these things. I hate capital punishment, minus that also for the fact that sometimes people are wrongly killed. Does that make sense? Like, wrongly justified. Like, I can name so many cases, and like some of them I'm going to talk about them. There's one that got me so mad. Oh my god, that one got me so mad. I'm going to talk about it like later. I'm planning on doing a video on that one. So basically, I really don't like capital punishment because there are so many things that could go wrong. But obviously, this one is Jeffrey Dahmer. This one is true. Um, yeah. So basically, guys, I'm so sorry I say basically a lot. Jeffrey Dahmer, he begged for his own death. He was like, he wanted to die. He, in prison, he gave his life to Christ. He used to read the Bible. He, oh, I did not tell you guys, this guy, this man, he said that he pleaded for insanity. He pleaded for in he said his case was case of insanity. So he pleaded for his sentence to be reduced, like to be reconsidered. Insanity. He said that basically why he pleaded for why his insanity is because of, it was not his fault. Like, these urges, they came coming to him to, to do whatever he wanted to do. Like, he did not plan on doing them. They just came. He didn't know the forces that were coming at him to do whatever he wanted to do, like kill people, dismember them. Do you understand? So he pleaded for insanity, but obviously, if he's in Texas, he was gonna be dead. Like, Texas, I don't know why they just love the capital punishment. I saw one interview, they were interviewing the mayor of Texas, the governor of Texas, and it was like, if you kill our people, you too, you'll be killed. And the interview was like, really? And then people of Texas were clapping their hands. And I'm like, this could be you. This could be you, honestly speaking. But if he did that in Texas, he would have been dead. Like, lethal injection, 1, 2, 3. What are you saying? What are you saying? So basically, he was in prison, and oh my god, my phone has been ringing. Oh, my friend called me. So while he was in prison, he was attacked twice by his fellow inmates. Like I said, that's why he was in solitary confinement. So they transferred him to another prison, and during that other prison, he was killed by 2 of his inmates. And the one that killed him was already giving life. So basically, it was like, since I'm giving life, I can as well, since I'm giving life. So I think they were told to clean the toilet or clean the bathroom. And on cases like this, they always have like an officer there. But this officer, according to him, he went to do something, and then by the time he came back, they had stabbed Jeffrey. So they had called 911 or ambulance services. And then when they called the ambulance services came to him, and he was still alive at the time the ambulance services came. But before they had rushed him to the hospital, Jeffrey had died because he suffered from severe head trauma. Guys, I'll be back. So guys, when Jeffrey died, oh, okay guys, we're here. So when Jeffrey died, I look good. I made my hair myself. Thank you. You're welcome. Um, so when Jeffrey, okay, now all of a sudden I don't think I look good again. Okay, anyways, so when Jeffrey died, most people were happy. Like, it was like a thing of joy, a thing of jubilation, joy. Everybody was just so happy that, oh my god, this famous serial killer who specialized in killing men and unsuspecting men, everybody was just happy that, oh yes, he's gone, he's dead. Basically, like, everybody was just happy that, yeah, he's dead. And the person that killed him was an ex-hitman. That's actually how he was even in prison, because he was an ex-hitman. And after this, when they asked this hitman why he actually killed Jeffrey, he said that God told him to, like, God told him to kill Jeffrey. Really, that's what he said, that he was ordered by God to kill Jeffrey, which I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think that's true anyways. And I think he killed somebody before he even killed Jeffrey. Either he killed someone before or after, and then when they asked him about that one too, he said that, oh yeah, God told him to kill the person. Anyways, everybody was happy that Jeffrey was dead. This hitman killed Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's dad, he went forward and he wrote a book on the whole case, on everything. And then when he wrote this book, his younger brother David changed his last name. He was like, you know what, I don't want to have anything to do with this. Thank you, but I don't need the D in my name. You understand? David Dahmer. I can do with just David, but he changed his last name. So I tried searching for him to see how he looks, but he's not on Google. Nobody knows his last name. He pissed himself out and he left. And yeah, basically that is it. What is you guys take on it? And how do I look? I think I look good. I think actually this was fun, like doing makeup and recording. Although that I was kind of slow, but I think it actually saved time. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Why am I speaking like this? This is not how I speak. Anyways, guys, so I don't know. Basically, like, get ready with me. I look good. Anyways, guys, yeah, so kindly subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed to my channel, like this video, and if you guys have any other story you guys would like me to talk about, let me know. I'll be back. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back more consistently. I know I've been saying that, but guys, life has been hitting me left, right, front and sinker, but we're strong. So I'll work my next case immediately. Yeah, so guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by and for watching. And if you enjoyed this, kindly subscribe and share this video with your friends. I know I don't have my lashes on, do not come for me. So either way, that's like, this is my disguise makeup for whenever I have a bad lash day. I just put on neon liner and I'm like, I'm good to go. So guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I've said that like a million times. Thank you so much for stopping by, and till next time, love. I love you guys so much. Bye. Don't mind my nails. Actually, these are my natural nails. Bye.